The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? Good to be with you again. If you're watching this for the first time, good to be with you for the first time. Whatever, I don't care. I live in the area, therefore I am allowed to come in here. I don't need to go through their strict security system. I can go right in. It's nice. Hey, how are you? So good to be with you. I cherish these moments that we spend together. That sounds very awkward, and it's not really true, but sounds nice, so I said it. Yeah, well, what do you want to talk about? Oh, God. It's that time of year when I sit down and I figure out the taxes thing. It is one of the banes of my existence. It's a big bane. I don't like it. I'm surrounded by receipts and things that I'm constantly looking for things that are deductible. I just walk around. I bought a silverware set last July. Is that deductible? I'm just looking for everything that's deductible. I don't understand why. You can deduct your health insurance premiums. That's deductible. You can deduct your prescription meditations. That's deductible. But for some reason, it's only for human beings. And I don't know about you, because I don't know you personally, but I have a pet. I have a dog. Through my life, I've had a series of dogs and then some. There was a time in my life when I had 3 dogs at once. I know, call me crazy. I used to watch a show called People's Court. I think it's not on anymore, but there was a Judge Wapner. I'm showing my age. Judge Wapner was a judge on People's Court, and he always used to say, sit in front of these court cases, these civil cases where there were dog bites involved, or a dog actually lost its life in a dog fight or something like that. Great hardship because of the dogs. And I remember Judge Wapner constantly saying in his little ruling there, I wish it wasn't true, but dogs are not people, and they are possessions. They are objects in the eyes of the law. They are not living things. Well, of course they're living things, but in the eyes of the law, you can't compensate in any way, shape, or form for that. It's just like losing your wallet or something, or I misplaced my shoes. Same thing. And I always thought, well, that's so insincere and so heartless and cruel. But even as we sit here today, pets, dogs, even though they are members of the family, oh my God, they're more members of the family than actual human members of the family. Am I right? How many humans sit on your lap and lick your face? They don't do it. No. Only the dogs do that. Sometimes a random cat. But they're not considered, they're just objects, possessions in the eyes of the law. But why can't you deduct their health insurance premiums? Some people, I actually have this. This is my newest dog, 4 years old this month. She is turning 4. We had a birthday party, played pin the tail on the squirrel. It was fun. I have health insurance for her. God forbid, as she gets older or whatever, she's covered because payments to hospitals and pet hospitals, they can be in the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for the extreme horrible cases. So I have pet insurance. And it's expensive. It's expensive. But I can't deduct it. It's insurance. And there was a point where last year my dog had conjunctivitis. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened. But, so she was prescribed eye drops. I went to the CVS. My fault. I went to the CVS and I got the prescription filled and I put the eye drops. She's fine. But I can't, that's a prescription thing from a doctor, but it's not deductible. I think we're a little behind the times as far as that's concerned. Anyway, that's not why I'm here. Basically, there is no reason why I'm here. So let's just get that straight to begin with. This is not a I have to do this kind of thing. So I'm sitting out doing my taxes. I got the receipts. I have to go through them and see which, I don't know, apply. It's horrible. I never get money back. I have a business, so I don't get money back. It's the opposite. I pay large amounts of money to the government every year so that I can make some of that back. And it's not that I just have to pay to the federal government, but I also have to pay to the state. It's not even a cut. It's like a whole separate tax deal. I used to live in New York City. My fault again. And I had a business down there too. And I paid, listen to this, you won't believe this. I don't know if it still goes on now, but this was like a long time ago. I paid federal tax. I paid state income tax. I paid city income tax. And there might have even been a fourth, just because we want to screw you more, income tax. I paid 3 of them. It was extraordinarily horrible, and it's probably still that way. So, what's my point? I have none. So I'm sitting there doing it, and I can't do it myself. So I have taxes done for me, but I still have to gather all the information, give them all the papers and all that kind of thing. And then they go through, and I pay them in order to go through the agony that I, at this point in my life, refuse to do. And I won't say which tax company it is, but it begins with an H. There's an R in there somewhere, and I think it's Schmock or Block or something. I don't know what the HR stands for. I don't know if it's HR Block or H&R Block. I don't know who H is. I don't know who R is. I don't know if that's somebody's last name was Block or whether that's where they started this store to put tax places on blocks in a town. I don't know where it came from, but it's not my problem, and I don't care. And I could Google that, but then I'd have to admit to somebody that I Googled it, and that's a sign of weakness as far as I'm concerned. So, but I go there, and there's this lovely lady named Michelle. That's her name. That's why I call her that. And I don't know her last name because I don't have to. And I give her a shoebox, and she laughs because there's no shoes in them. It's all my pertinent W2s, W7, WD-40, all those things. It's in a shoebox because it's just, that's what you do, right? You put the stuff in a shoebox. Sure, when I got the shoebox, there were shoes in them, but I figured there's got to be more to do with this situation, and I use it for storage of papers. Anyway, so I give her the shoebox. And it takes her a few weeks to do my taxes. I don't know, it's because if she's busy or she looks at the shoebox every day, sitting on her kitchen table at home going, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. And she's not even religious, but she just says that all the time, probably. She's wonderful, and she does them very, very well. That HR thing, blocks, they have a guarantee or something. You pay a little bit more money, just a little bit more. And if there's a mistake made or they call you in for something or something like that, they will back you up. I guess they send over a gang of people with machine guns. I don't know what that means back. Do they lawyer me up? I don't really know. I've never had the problem. But that's what they say, so I do that. I pay for that a little bit extra. It's like if I'm audited. Okay, boys, let's go. They're backing me up. Back me up. So it's tax time. I have a weird way of referring to putting your tax stuff together. I call it my financial colonoscopy. It fits, so to speak, excuse the expression. But colonoscopy, boom, right? Let's see what's in there. Let's clean you out. Same here. They're cleaning me out financially. It's an annual cleaning of my receipts and papers in a shoebox. It's my financial colonoscopy. And I do suggest that whether you're going to get money back from whatever government you're talking about, or whether you don't, or whether you have to pay, it's a good idea to do it early. Because there's this thing with this tax time, it's called procrastination. And by the time you realize, okay, I better do something about this, then you find out, oh man, I don't have a bank receipt from that bank to be able to do. I don't have, where's my where's my W-6? So I guess I'm here today to tell you, get on the stick and let's get this done, okay? That's how I do a public service to the community. And in no other way do I do that. Tax time. It's, I don't know. I think April 15th or whatever that falls on. Maybe they give you a few days extra if it falls on a Saturday or Friday or something. I have no idea. There's usually some holidays involved. Easter just pops up whatever time it wants to. All those holidays, they're never. It's never like Thanksgiving is always the third Thursday, I do believe. Easter, I think they spin a wheel. I just think they spin a wheel, and sometimes it's the middle of March, sometimes it's the end of April, sometimes it's November. Easter is just all over the place. And now I move on. I'm going to talk about restaurants. And I do that every once in a while. I may have done that here at some point. I had an experience in a restaurant. I was accosted. No, I wasn't. I was in a restaurant. It wasn't in the area that you live in. It was in one of those chain restaurants that has a number in it that's just shy of 100. And it wasn't in this area. It was in some other part of the state, this great state of Missouri. I love screwing with people. I really do. Missouri? This isn't Missouri. But he said it was. I love that. It's so much fun. It was in this great state of Missouri, and it was far away. They had something going which was kind of interesting. They had an open kitchen concept. Yeah. What it is, you walk into the restaurant, they have a gigantic bar, and then right near the bar they have the kitchen, but there's no wall. The kitchen is not walled off. It has like a metal counter that goes across the length of the wall, but you can see right into the kitchen, and you can see the chefs. Now, the chefs, of course, are wearing chef uniforms. I believe that if there's a kitchen and there's a wall there and you can't see into the kitchen, I don't believe they wear pants at all. But with this setup, this open kitchen kind of concept, they're wearing the chef's uniform, maybe a little chef's hat or something. Very impressive. It is impressive to go into a restaurant and see the open kitchen because it makes the customer feel like, okay, that's great. If there's a wall in front of the kitchen, you don't know what they're doing in there. It could be a spit fest. You don't know what's happening. But with this open thing where you can see into the kitchen and you can see the food being placed on the counter, waiting for the wait staff to pick it up and bring it to the table, it's just very fascinating to watch. It's like being a part of the experience. It's nice. However, there's a drawback to it, and I saw it for myself. I was sitting at the bar, and I was facing that wall where they have the open kitchen, and I could see like right into the kitchen. And I was watching. There's nothing else to do at a bar, except drink. So, which makes me look even more. So I'm looking into this open area, and I'm seeing the chefs running around, the short order chef, the big order chef, all those people. And I'm seeing the wait staff, and they take the food when the food's ready, and they take it and they put it on the counter, and then the wait staff person comes over to the counter, checks their ticket, and then picks up the plate and goes to the table and delivers the food. Well, there were quite a few instances, and I was there for about 45 minutes. Quite a few instances where the chef would put the beautiful plate of food, steaming nice hot food, put it on the counter, and it would just sit there. And I saw other waiters and waitresses, I think I've covered all the sexes there, they would take plates that were their tickets, and they would take that. But for some reason, there was a lackey kind of a waitstaff person, and 2 plates were sitting on the counter for up to, one of them for 5 minutes, the other for up to 15 minutes. And it was a lady person, a waitress, and she was just like, I don't know what she was doing. She just like wasn't picking up the food and bringing it to the table. 15 minutes for this plate, and it wasn't steaming anymore. Finally, she meanders over to the counter wall and sees the plates and checks the ticket, picks up the plates, and walks over to a table. I could see the table where I was sitting at the bar. I could see the table that she was bringing the food to. She takes the food, puts it down in front of them, asks if there's anything else. I don't know what they said, and she walked away. I was so tempted to get up from my bar stool and walk over to that table and say, "Excuse me, you don't know me. I'm Ron. How are you?" I was sitting at the bar over there, and I pointed to the bar stool to make it authentic, and I said, I sat there, your food was sitting on that counter for 15 minutes. It was placed on that counter 15 minutes ago by the chef, waiting for your waitress to pick it up and bring it to you. That was 15 minutes ago. And then I would expect that the people at that table would say, "This is not acceptable." And they would call the waitress over and start screaming, "You inefficient piece of crap! How dare you! No tip, and send it back." But they didn't do that because I didn't do that. There's so many things in life. Tell me if you don't do the same thing. Or tell me if you do the same thing. Not that you don't do the same thing. Tell me that you do the same thing, but you don't. Where you want to do something, go over and do something that's right, and because it's just something like that situation, but you don't do it. In your head, you see the entire scenario of everybody getting upset and calling out this waitress and say, "You better not ever do that again. I'm going to make sure that you'll never work in a restaurant ever again," which is probably a good thing for her. But I didn't do. I didn't get up from the bar stool because I'm lazy, and also I didn't want to create trouble. And if they taste the food and it's too cold, then they can deal with that themselves. I watched them at the table. They didn't complain at all, and that frustrated me even more because I would have had I known. See, but I would have, with the open kitchen concept, I would have at the table. I would have looked over at the kitchen concept wall every once in a while, and I would have seen food sitting there and say, "Wait a minute, isn't that my hamburger? I'm going to go get it." "No, you don't. Don't embarrass us. She'll bring it over any minute, I'm sure." "No, it's been sitting there looking for 5 minutes." No, don't get it yourself. No, that's going to cause a scene." I would have done that. I would have looked over it once in a while. But you see, people in a restaurant, they don't do what I do. They're just having conversation about something lame, like, "Oh, Betty bought a new couch today, and it's really, really beautiful. I love the couch. It's fantastic." Hey, if you look over at the counter, your food's sitting there. That actually happened. People say, "Ron, you make up stories, don't you? They're entertaining, so you must make them." That's true. That was absolutely true. But I did absolutely nothing about it. That's true, too. Restaurants are interesting. I never owned a restaurant. I've eaten in them before. And there's some restaurant blunders not blenders, blunders. And I don't understand why restaurants don't take my advice. If you own a restaurant or you manage one, I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice. I'm going to give you some examples. And you can thank me later because your business will start booming if you just take my advice. And here it is. I don't have any. No, here it is. First of all, that open kitchen concept doesn't work. It causes more trouble than it's worth. Don't do it. Don't do it. Secondly, you serve bread. If you serve bread at your restaurant, a little basket while they're waiting, that kind of thing. Do you want some bread while you're waiting? Sure, why not? This is so incredible. I don't understand why restaurants don't do this. I just do not understand it. Take the bread, put it in the oven for 30 seconds, no longer, just to warm it up, not microwave it, in the oven for 30 seconds. Take it out of the oven, put it back in a basket, bring it over to the table. They will have an orgasm. Literally. Oh my God, the bread is warm. You've got to try the bread. Taste the bread. It's warm. How do they do that? I don't know. It's warm. You will have a line around the block. You will have it like there'll be 100 people in line. And someone will say, hey, what are you waiting in line for? What's going on in the restaurant? They have warm bread. You're kidding. Warm bread. I can love this. I love the warm bread. Customers are like stupid. They are attracted by the smallest little dazzling thing. They love the warm bread. They will come back your food can suck. There can be little ants crawling through your risotto. It doesn't matter. If the bread is warm, they'll come back. Warm up your bread. Never serve it just room temperature or cold. Warm it up, then bring it over. You want a tip? That's how you get it. Suggestion number 2. Well, I don't know about suggestion number 2. When I was younger, believe it or not, I know you're looking at me and saying, how could you be younger than you look now? I know, I get it. When I was younger, when I went to a bar, and I did, they would serve nuts in a bowl or popcorn. There's a restaurant chain with a 99 thing in it that I was referring to before. They serve popcorn. You know why? Because it's salty and it makes you drink more. I mean, I'm not stupid. I get what you're doing. It sounds like you're being very hospitable. Like a hospital. But you're just making people really thirsty. Most places don't serve, certainly no nuts. Nuts used to, at a bar used to be a thing. No more. There's usually nothing on the bar at all. If you want something, here's a menu. Order off the menu. If you want something small, order an appetizer, which is, by the way, the same cost as the entree. I don't know why, but you do. Give them some nuts, man. Give them some nuts. They love that. And they'll stay there. You give them some nuts, they may not order off the menu because they didn't intend to begin with, but they'll stay there for another drink because you're giving them nuts. And they'll go back to your place because your place has nuts on the bar. Not nuts sitting around the bar. That you have too. I'm talking about the little bowl of nuts. Ron, isn't that like unsanitary to take your hands and dip them in the nuts? This is getting kind of weird to say. Yes, it is unsanitary. I'm not saying that you give it to everybody and pass it around. This is your bowl of nuts. This is your little basket of popcorn. It's not passable. Don't use that as an excuse. People will go back there for that reason. They really, really will, most of the time. Here's my favorite place to go, which is along the warm bread concept, but these people have been doing it forever. And that is the Mexican restaurant. Oh my God. Here's what they do. When you sit down, whether it be at the bar or at a table, doesn't matter. As soon as you sit down, a person comes over with a basket of tortilla chips, and they're warm. Now, some places don't warm them up. Most places do, and when they are warm tortilla chips, same response. Oh my God, you've got to go to this place. They have warm tortilla chips when you walk in the door. I'm telling you, it works. But they also, that's not enough. They bring you a bowl of salsa, which is always tasty, better than what you get in a jar in a supermarket. And sometimes they'll give you a dish of warm bean dip. Oh, bean dip, bean dip, bean dip. And this is just for walking in the door. You don't even have to play their game. You just sit there. You order a drink. You can order like a Diet Pepsi. That's fine. Or an alcoholic beverage. That's fine. They'll ask you if you want to order something, and you usually do. But they set you up as soon as you walk in. That's restaurant. That is restaurant. Now, they've got you by the gazuntas because they serve tequila. Sugary tequila drinks, you don't have to do the sugary ones, but they have tequila. Tequila makes you really friendly. And that's why I think I love the Mexican people. It's not only because I like Mexican food. I love the way they treat you when you walk in. They're extremely friendly. They're hard workers. I love them. I as a people, if we're going to generalize in that sense, I really love them. It may also be because they force feed me tequila, like a woman breastfeeding her child. It's the tequila makes everybody friendly, or at least gives you the impression that they are. So that really works well. Mexican food is interesting. It's kind of always the same thing. And I know it is. It's very, very tasty. It's like the whole thing is like, it's not junk food, but it's tasty like that. You know, it's fun food. But it's always a ground beef, a pulled pork, or cheese or chicken. That's all. But it's wrapped in all different things. But that's it. That's all we're doing here. We're taking the filling of your choice, and you have 4 choices basically, and we'll put it inside of a tortilla of some sort. It could be an enchilada. We roll that a little bit differently, and we have a couple of different sauces for that. But basically, we have sauces for everything. We got taco. We got the hard taco, the soft taco. Again, it's just a wrapping thing. A tamale, we wrap it a little bit tighter. It's not much. You want lettuce? Okay, we got a salad with all of that on the salad. You want sour cream, guacamole? We got that ready for you too. That goes on everything. No matter what you order here, we're going to give you some refried beans. Those are beans that looks like somebody else already ate them. You got to get refried beans, and you're gonna get some rice, some Mexican rice, and that's the extent of our menu, really. There are some extra things we put together, but nobody really orders that crap. This is basically it. I mean, this is it. The Mexican restaurants also have something that the other places don't have. They have Taco Tuesday. You don't go into a steakhouse and they have Steak Saturday, where it's discounted steaks. No, but tacos, Tuesday, it's got a T in it. So that's a great marketing scheme. Other restaurants, they don't do that. I'm out of time. Have yourselves a wonderful day. I'll be back next week with another episode of this. You can listen to me every Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, new episode. Ron Van Dam Show. You can Google us, NewEnglandBroadcasting.com, RonVanDam.com. We're on every platform ever known to man, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pandora, all those things. So that's it for me. Enjoy. Have a good time. Till next time, I wish you peace.